Sleep is the most anabolic thing you're doing. You're training hard, your macros, they could be dialed in. You're running a protocol that costs you thousands of bucks a year, but if you're sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night, you're actively destroying the physique progression. Most guys think that sleeping less, it proves their discipline, but it proves that they don't understand human physiology. So, today, let's break down exactly why sleep is the primary anabolic window of your day. I'm gonna walk you through the mechanisms of how sleep deprivation eliminates growth hormone pulses, elevates your cortisol, wrecks your insulin sensitivity, and literally forces your body to burn muscle instead of fat, even in a calorie deficit. Then I'm gonna take you through the exact protocol we use here at Built to fix our clients' sleep architecture, including the supplement stack, peptides, and the routines that actually work. As always, this is education, not medical advice. I'm a coach, I'm not your doctor. Don't change your medical protocols without consulting a professional. Let's start with the single most important relationship between sleep and your physique, growth hormone. So most people, they're gonna treat sleep as this passive recovery. It's not at all. Training is the stimulus, nutrition is the substrate, sleep is where the adaptation actually happens. And 80% of your daily growth hormone release happens during sleep, specifically during slow wave sleep, which is your deep sleep. The largest GH pulse of the entire day occurs approximately 60 to 90 minutes after you fall asleep, right in that first deep sleep cycle. And GH is gonna drive lipolysis, fat burning. It drives muscle protein synthesis by stimulating IGF-1. It drives collagen synthesis for your joints and your tendons. And when you cut your sleep short, or when your sleep is all fragmented, that pulse, it never gets fully expressed. If you drink alcohol before you go to bed, you blunt it. If you eat a massive bowl of carbs right before you go to sleep, the elevated insulin suppresses the GH because insulin and GH, they're antagonistic. Let's talk about your testosterone. Your natural testosterone production follows a circadian rhythm that is tightly linked to sleep architecture. So the LH pulses from your pituitary are highest during sleep. 1 week of sleeping 5 hours per night, that's gonna reduce your testosterone by 10 to 15% in young, healthy men. That's equivalent of aging 10 to 15 years hormonally just from 1 week of bad sleep. And for the guys who are enhanced, you might think that, hey, this doesn't apply to you because your testosterone, you're injecting it. You're wrong. Someone who's enhanced, who sleeps 5 hours a night, is leaving a massive anabolic potential on the table. The exogenous testosterone, it's there, but the downstream hormonal environment that determines how well that testosterone is utilized, it's compromised. If GH and testosterone are the anabolic side of the equation, then cortisol is the catabolic side. Cortisol, it follows a diurnal rhythm. Cortisol follows a diurnal rhythm. It should be lowest at night and it should peak in the morning to wake you up. The problem is when cortisol is elevated at night due to poor sleep. Cortisol and testosterone, they compete for the same precursor, pregnenolone. When cortisol is high at night, it directly suppresses GH secretion. But worse than that, the cortisol, it's directly catabolic to muscle tissue. It activates muscle protein breakdown pathways and inhibits mTOR. So when you're sleep deprived and you're in a state of sustained elevated cortisol, this blunts anabolic signaling, it impairs glucose metabolism, and it increases visceral fat. Elevated cortisol, specifically, it increases lipoprotein lipase activity in visceral adipose tissue. This means that your body, it's gonna store fat in your abdomen under chronic stress and sleep deprivation. This is why chronically sleep deprived guys gain a lot of fat in the midsection, even if they're dieting hard. So that brings us to fat loss. You can't out diet poor sleep. Sleep deprivation, it upregulates your endocannabinoid system. It increases ghrelin, hunger hormone, and it decreases leptin, the satiety hormone. So you're hungrier, you're less satisfied, and you're craving these high-calorie foods. But here's the most important study you need to know about it. So Needle Teshvia and colleagues put subjects in a calorie deficit and randomized it somewhere between 8.5 hours versus 5.5 hours of sleep. Both groups, they lost the same amount of total weight. But wait, the composition of that weight, completely different. The group sleeping 8.5 hours lost 55% of their weight as just fat, while the group sleeping 5.5 hours, they only lost 25% of their weight as fat. You know what that means? The rest of the weight they lost was muscle. It's precious. Sleep deprivation, it makes you lose muscle, not fat, not even in a perfectly set up deficit. If you're cutting on 5 hours of sleep, you're literally dieting just to burn your own muscle tissue. So, before we get into the protocol, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Enhanced lifters, sleep apnea. If your neck is bigger than 17 inches, you're at a massive risk for sleep apnea, and it's severely underdiagnosed in bodybuilding. When you got sleep apnea, you skew your whole sleep. You never sustain deep sleep, which means you never really get a GH pulse. You chronically elevate bedtime cortisol, but the cardiovascular cascade is what actually kills you. Every time you stop breathing, your body, it causes something called intermittent hypoxia. So your oxygen drops and your body compensates by producing more red blood cells, driving up your hematocrit, your blood thickens, your blood pressure goes up, and your left ventricular wall, it starts to pump that thick blood, that sludge. In a bodybuilder with untreated sleep apnea, it's functionally a GH deficit at a massive cardiovascular risk, regardless of what compounds they run. If you have sleep apnea, CPAP compliance, it's not optional. It's the single highest leverage intervention that you can actually make. So how do we fix this whole mess? Here's the exact hierarchy of interventions that we're going to use. Number one, your environment. Your room needs to be somewhere between 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It's around 20 degrees Celsius. That way your core body temperature, it drops to initiate deep sleep. So the room needs to be cold. It needs to be pitch black. Number two, lifestyle. So no caffeine after like 1 p.m. Caffeine, it's got a half-life of about 5 to 7 hours. So a 3 p.m. coffee means 50% of that caffeine still in your system at 9 p.m. No alcohol within 3 hours of sleep, period. Just don't have it. It's gonna smash your sleep. Number three, pre-sleep nutrition. Muscle protein synthesis, it doesn't stop when you sleep. If you're fasting for 8 hours, 40 grams of casein protein 30 to 60 minutes before bed is going to increase overnight muscle protein synthesis by 22%. It can be helpful. We don't need to 100% be casein, but it's helpful. Avoid large carbohydrate meals within 2 hours of sleep to prevent insulin from blunting your GH pulse. Number four, the supplement stack. Simple way to do it, 400 to 600 milligrams of magnesium glycinate to reduce cortisol and improve slow wave sleep. 200 to 400 milligrams of L-theanine to increase alpha brainwaves. 50 milligrams of apigenin to reduce anxiety and improve sleep onset. If you're going to use melatonin, you don't have to use more than 1 milligram. Most products are 5 to 10, which is a pharmacological dose that might suppress your own production, and that's why you feel groggy. Number five, for advanced clients, compounds like ipamorelin or CJC 1295 without DAC at sleep onset can definitely amplify the natural GH pulse. Something like DSIP or delta sleep-inducing peptide directly promotes slow wave sleep. It's going to reduce cortisol. Not to mention, just having growth hormone can fix the whole problem. Sleep, it's not this like supplement that you're going to add on at the end. It's actually the foundation, and everything else sits upon it. You can't out-train it, you can't out-diet it, and you can't out-drug it. Stop treating it like it's a luxury. Treat it like it's a performance tool. If you want the exact protocols we use to optimize sleep, blood work, and performance for high-level guys, click the link in the description. You can apply for coaching. We build the system so you can just execute. And if you found this valuable, hit subscribe. Drop your comments below. And then that way I can cover them in the next video. See you in the next one.